The Missouri Department of Education has just started using a nationally standardized way of measuring graduation rates. And the numbers are going to look worse, in part because of who is and who is not being counted. But this is not really about the numbers and the methodology, because nearly everyone agrees on one thing: not enough kids are graduating from high school. You're going to be hearing a lot about this on the 9 Network as part of our new American Graduate Project, and about how you can get help for a student or get involved yourself. Jim Kircher tonight has a story about a new look at an old problem.
Good evening. I'm Gwen Ifill of the PBS NewsHour and Washington Week. 72.
You know it's a big deal when NewsHour senior correspondent Gwen Ifill comes to town to listen to St. Louis area teachers about what to do about too many dropouts.
What are we as a country losing by losing them?
The town hall meeting broadcast in November kicked off a local and national project funded by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting called American Graduate. Let's make it happen.
I would love to have a school like that.
When students drop out before receiving a high school diploma, their explanation is often quite simply put: I didn't like school. But it isn't that simple. A lot of kids who say they don't like school stick it out. Dropping out can't just be viewed as a single event or a simple decision. There's more going on, much more. In Missouri, 2 out of every 10 students entering high school won't get a diploma in 4 years. And the graduation rate for black students is lower compared to white students, and that's a disparity that's typical nationwide. And each one of these lost students raises questions about the student, their schools and teachers, their family, and their community.
I don't think we want to talk about poverty. We don't want to talk about race. Those are huge things in America today that are affecting our kids. Until we talk about those things and how those factors affect those kids from impoverished backgrounds, we're not going to change.
Dropping out can put a young person in a hole they may never climb out of. The costs to them and the community are high and impact the rest of their lives. Dropouts are likely to earn less money. 1 in 4 dropouts ends up receiving some kind of public assistance. A high school dropout is 8 times as likely as a high school graduate to end up in prison.
But the problem is, they don't drop out in high school. They drop out in 2nd grade, and they hang around for 8 years. Now, my second point is, these schools need a community approach, which some of you have been talking about.
We're going to talk a little bit in a few moments about the community responsibilities. We really want to get to that. But
this is not the first time the 9 Network has tackled a big education issue or brought together the community to tackle a tough problem. It's one of the reasons Channel 9 was started in the first place.
It seems to me, why don't we, it's a big problem, and when we recognize, so can't we have a meeting?
This 1950s Channel 9 special was about how St. Louis should deal with newly integrated classrooms in the public schools.
It wasn't too serious. If you have something that is wrong in school, we'd like to know about it.
Well, I think we both are fearful.
For this program, participants were asked to act out scenes to illustrate issues and attitudes.
I think if we forget you, forget me, concentrate on Johnny. Johnny is the one who needs help. Yeah. If we can get that through and then get together.
But for integration back then, as with dropping out today, the point was that everyone, parents, students, teachers, and the community, all had a stake in this and would need to work together rather than point fingers.
You might visit in the classroom yourself if you were invited.
Yes, we have to be invited.
Today it's about keeping kids from dropping out, different issue, but the same approach.
The thing I've heard the most is that we separate ourselves as the school and the community when the school and the community are one. And that's what we need to get back to anyway.
And when teachers in the audience were asked about the level of community support at their schools, this was their response.
21% of you said high, 24% said medium, 55% said low. Ouch. Was that your sense? That there's not enough community engagement in our schools?
The thing about potential dropouts is that we know how to help them. But there's not a single program that works for everyone.
But what we can do is go back to our schools, invest in our students, find a student who needs additional support. I know at our
teachers often get demonized. People talk about everything that's wrong with the school system. They never talk about what's right. And as much as there is wrong, there are so many teachers who are personally, physically engaged in the lives of these kids and rescuing our kids.
But even what we might consider the worst kids, the lost causes, they can be helped. And St. Louis has been getting national attention for a program that is doing just that. Anne-Marie Berger's report was part of the town hall broadcast.
Everybody sit down. Hey guys, sit down for a second. Everybody sit down for me. Everybody, please.
It's the school of last resort. Some students here have been expelled, committed crimes, even served time in juvenile detention. And many of them were sentenced in Jimmy Edwards' courtroom.
How long I lock you up for? I never lock you. I lock you up for 2 years. Most of the kids that I have here, I have a personal relationship with them. And so my interest is making sure that they survive, that they achieve. I want you untied in uniform.
In partnership with MERS Goodwill and the St. Louis Public Schools, Judge Jimmy Edwards started the Innovative Concept Academy in 2009 in an empty school building in the same North St. Louis neighborhood he grew up in.
These are very, very bright kids, and I like them a lot.
He knew that these kids, if not given another chance in a disciplined, structured environment where they could finish high school, would probably end up in somebody else's courtroom.
It's easy to turn your back. It's easy to lock them up. What's more difficult for you and I to do with a poor child is to say, you can succeed, and you are as bright as any other child. I just wanted to bring you in here, and we were talking about our community partners.
Judge Edwards has gotten a lot of attention. He was just named People Magazine's Hero Among Us, and this school is supported by more than 40 sponsors. Corporate donations bought top-notch kitchen and laundry facilities because for many students, it's a home away from home. Exercise equipment was donated by the YMCA. But this is not about coddling. It's about educating kids who often lack proficient reading and critical thinking skills.
If you have a child who is in the 12th grade, who's 18 years old, who reads on a third grade level, I believe you have to give that child a third grade textbook and start to teach that child from a third grade level.
It's also about keeping them supervised and keeping them busy after school. The security is tight. The rules are enforced.
I mean, I'm tough, and sometimes they don't like it, but I am. And so they won't understand it for a while. If, firstly, there is a lack of adult supervision, secondly, too much idle time, and thirdly, economic constraints. If those three pathways exist, a child is going to end up in the criminal justice system. Now, if we can eradicate two of those pathways, then the child stands a better chance of succeeding. All right, guys. Thank you.